Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant Chess Wise. Today we are at the next topic and we are going to discuss one of my game once again, and it is against another title player. Today we are going to see a game from my tournament played in 1998. Since 1997 I had started doing some home analysis with my friends of course, and we realized that knowing the opening theory is good enough, but if we can put up something more and analyze openings in more detail than whatever is there in the opening books, it can turn out to be useful. This is what happens in this game, and we will see how the line is already at great depth. There is some 15 to 17 moves which are all theoretically played, somewhat forced as well. Let's get to the game quickly and see what it is all about. White goes e4, e6, d3. More popular is d4. My opponent is a FIDE master and his rating was 20 to 80. Idea of playing d3 is simple. White wants to go knight d2, knight gf3, g3, bg2. Basically this bishop wants to come from g2, and white maintains a position of a reversed King's Indian defense setup. Hence it is called the King's Indian attack. Black goes with the move d5. Black now threatens d, queen d1 check. So white goes nd2. Here the main line is c5, nc6, nf6. There are many variations here. Since white wants to play g3 followed by bg2, it's evident that this diagonal from h1 to 8 must be kept closed, and black can look at many ways. He can often play the move e5 himself. Very well, it will cost us one tempo. We have already played e6 and we will have to move the pawn once again. But look at white. He is going to spend two tempos getting g3, bg2, and after all that, when black plays e5, e4 pawn will never move, and it will be a decent achievement for black, we can say. Black first goes nf6, not disclosing his idea yet. nf3, and here he plays nc6. Just waiting and seeing what white wants to do. Bishop e2 would be quite passive, so white generally goes with the move g3, which also happens to be the main line. And here black takes the decision of going first d takes e4. Of course knight e4 is bad. Knight e4, d4, q d1. Black is much better. D takes e4, and now he uses e5. Once white has committed the move g3, now he is not able to play the move bishop c4, and after the bishop comes to g2, we see that it is not that effective because there is his own pawn on e4. So we can say that by wasting the move e6, e5, black has somehow managed to trick white in this position. White continues with his plan. Bishop g2, bishop c5. Play now resembles typical Gaico type of position, but without the bishop on c4. Bishop has gone to g2. White plays castle. Black also castles. It's time to make a plan for white. White wants to free his knight, queen, and develop his bishop. The square d4 can fall into black's hand, so white goes c3. There is a small threat here. b4, b5, knight moves, and e5 would be taken. So white has to stop b4. So a5 not only stops b4, black has his own plans. The square d3 is somewhat weak. There is no control of any pawn on that square, and this bishop soon starts eyeing that square. Black has a decent plan of playing b6 followed by bishop a6. Bishop or the queen can look to control the or occupy the d3 square. White goes qc2. qe2 is another line which also has its own theory. The play can go similar to the variation which happens here. b6, knight c4, bishop a6. The knight is heading to e3 followed by d5. First white uses the move rook d1, an important intermezzo. Queen attacks the rook, so bishop cannot take on c4. Queen e7 and knight e3. As I already mentioned, everything is theory so far, and the theory goes well some more moves further down the line. and things become very much forced, as we will soon see. 2k d8, white goes and d5. This is white's idea. White is centralizing his pieces, but we can make out that he is not as well developed as black is. So knight takes d5, he takes d5, and black thinks of complicating the game. There comes e4, and a forced variation will still continue. Here during the game, suddenly I got worried. I forgot what happens to the move knight g5, and it looked like if knight on c6 moves, then e4 is simply lost. But by the time the opponent was trying to think, I found the move bishop d3, and then I realized that it's okay now. So after qb3 we can go h6, dc, hg5, which is much better for black. So white has to go with the move d takes c6, and now first rook takes d1, very important move, forcing the queen back to d1, and now e takes f3. Still everything is going as per theory. The first point, if queen takes f3, then queen e1 wins instantly. Bishop f1, queen f1 mates. So bishop f3. We are about to reach the dead end of the theory. Here theory mentions that this position is good compensation for black. But this position we analyzed more in detail, and we came to know that black is definitely not having just compensation, but he must be at least clearly better. It should be noted that that time there was no access to computers, and chess engines were even not that strong. So I think in 98 hardly there were any engines available. So everything had to be worked out in detail by oneself or with the help of colleagues. And this position was analyzed in some detail, and we realized that white's play practically is very difficult. White has to be very careful over here. White in fact has the only move bd2, other moves lose. After bd5, black can do the simple rook takes d5, queen takes d5, queen e1 check, kg2, amongst many things like bishop f1 check and all. Simplest is queen f1 check, kf3, qh1 check, winning the queen on d5. Here white has to play the only move bd2, and here black has another good move, queen f6. Attacks the bishop on f3. The bishop cannot move because of queen f2 check, of course. d2 would be lost as well. So white has to play the move kg2 here, because black simply threatens to go rook d2, qd2, qf3. Let's say white goes a3, or maybe even the move b4. Then rook d2, qd2, queen f3, queen d8 check, bishop f8, rook e1, h6, rook e8. Here black has the very strong king h7. After rook f8, queen e2, and it is black who ends up winning the game. Of course, the whole line till rook e8 was not analyzed by me at home, but I knew that the threat of rook d2 does exist. White goes kg2, and here black has the good move bb5. We soon see that the pawn on c6 will be regained, and black will have somewhat better chances. At least he is clearly better. White goes queen e1, trying to get rid of the pin, and now bishop takes c6, bishop takes c6, queen c6 check, king g1 almost forced. After f3, black can choose amongst many things between qb5, b4 forced, and the very strong re8. The rook enters e2, and things look or become very difficult for white. After queen f1, perhaps the only move, there is re2 check, when kh3, qd7 followed by qd2 wins. King h1, then also he can just move the bishop away, and that position is also clearly better for black. Thus the move kg1 is forced here, and again black has the very strong move queen f3. Everything is still going according to the home analysis only. Right now there is again a threat of going bishop f2, queen f2, queen f2, kf2, rook d2 check, and that rook endgame is winning after rook b2. Black will be 2 pawns up. The bishop has to move. Bishop moves to f4. Bishop e3 would of course lose to the move rook e8. Here modern computers suggest the move h5 h4, which is actually much better than what I played in the game. I went with the move king f8. Idea is to play rook e8 followed by rook entering on the e2 square, which looks winning at first, but there is one tactical flaw here which I realized actually some time later, because after bishop c7, if rook e8, queen f1 is not forced. White has the move qd2, when after re2 there is qd8 check re8, which only repeats the position. So black is not having a forced win here. After the move bc7, maybe black has to try the move rook d7, force the bishop away, and then again try the move rook e7, qd2, and maybe go ke8 here, which is little difficult to find, we must say. Anyways, my opponent also failed to realize this tactical idea and he played the move queen f1. His idea was simple. By the time I come rook e8, he will play rook e1 and stop the move rook e2. But then now I saw something for black. Rook e8, rook e1, and I couldn't believe that my opponent played re1, because now what happens? The queen on f1 is overloaded. It supports f2 and e1 both, and this move I had seen when I was playing the move king f8. Black wins with the simple and spectacular qf2, and my opponent was quite surprised. Only move queen takes f2, but now the queen is pinned, which also supports the rook on e1, means e1 is unsupported. Rook e1 check, kg2, bishop f2, king f2, and this game should win very easily. Let's see the concluding part of the game without much analysis. Black goes rook b1, attacks b2, bishop c7, rook b2 check, white went ke3. Now rook takes h2 first, so that after bishop b6, rook a2, a5 gets supported. White went a4, rook a2, bishop takes b6, rook a4, kd3, king e8, trying to bring the king from the black squares so that the white bishop cannot harass. King wants to come to d7, c6, and black should be either able to push his a pawn or the h pawn. My opponent played bd4, to which I found the simple move to convert the game. Rook takes d4, king takes d4, h5, kc5, kd7, c4, g5, kb6, and here black can do many things, but the simplest kc8. This makes white realize that now there is no scope for any swindle over here. King can't reach b7 and there is no defense to the move h4. After king a5, h4, the h pawn wins by force. So my opponent resigned over here after king c8. So in this game we can see most of the part, more than 50% of the part was covered by the opening theory itself, and when the players become strong, they should try to work out their openings on their own and go beyond the books. That can help many a times fetch some important points. Of course, now we can use computer analysis, and many kids try to use computers at a very early age or very early phase of their game. One should try to use computers bit later when the understanding is more, maybe playing chess for about 2 to 3 years. Then it is more fruitful as our game has developed and we can use the analysis or the assistant to the fullest. I hope you will find the lesson useful and instructive. Thanks for your time.